So we're just going to take a few seconds here just to sit in a cross-legged position and just to try to focus our mind before we begin the actual posture, a wide-legged pose. So we'll move in to a wide-legged position here, adjusting our legs as necessary, and then just leaning back on our hands just to kind of sit in this position for a couple seconds before we actually will bend forward into the posture, just to kind of get ourselves set and just allow our body to get ready to engage in the pose. And so we bend forward and we grab whatever is comfortable for us. For some of us, it may be just reaching to our knees and bending forward to only that far, maybe down to your shins for others, and then still others might be able to grab their feet, and still others might even be able to go even farther and put their hands on the floor and lay flat on the floor if you are particularly limber. But it's not important actually how far you bend forward in this pose. What is important is that you come to a place where you experience some tension in your inner thighs, and you'll also feel some tension in your hamstrings that run along the back of your legs. You want to come just to the point where you feel this tension, and then you want to stop and hold. And at this point, just pay attention. Be mindful of what that feeling feels like. What does this tension feel like? And throughout this process, throughout these 3 minutes for some of us, 5 minutes for others if you choose to hold it that long, you will be adjusting your position and bending further once that level of stress that you initially felt ceases and disappears. Then generally you'll want to move deeper into the posture till you get to that point where you feel the stress again. And in this case, in the wide-legged pose, the stress will be in your inner thighs and again your hamstrings and maybe even your lower back. You feel that stress and you stop and you hold and you pay attention. What does this feel like? Where am I feeling it? And pay particular attention to its fading away. And also how our minds react to the tension and the stress that we feel in our bodies in these postures. This is a particularly important insight to gain, is how our mind reacts to pain and the things it wants to do and how it wants to get out of the posture or think about other things or avoid the pain. All of these things that happen in response to uncomfortable situations. Pay particular attention to that, how the mind reacts to uncomfortable situations. And then you'll notice after a while that the pain or the uncomfortableness will fade away. And pay particular attention to that moment, the fading away, and what does that feel like, and how does the mind react, and so forth. And then move deeper into the posture until you reach another level of stress where you can feel it in the inner thighs, your hamstrings, and maybe your lower back, and then hold it there again. And for those of you holding the posture for 3 minutes, this is the 3-minute mark, so you may come up and straighten your back and just sit in a wide-legged pose like that for a couple seconds and just feel what it feels like to not have that uncomfortable stresses felt in the body, and enjoy that moment. This is a very close moment, very close to full enlightenment, so just get a taste for what that feels like. And then you may go into a cross-legged pose for the remainder. We have about a minute and a half left for those of you who are going to finish out the 5-minute hold for this pose. And again, we're just adjusting deeper into the posture and noting how that registers in the mind and how it feels, where the sensations are occurring in our bodies, and how those sensations are registered in our minds. The Buddha taught the 4 foundations of mindfulness, And mindfulness of the body is one of those foundations. And so we can consider these postures a window into the Buddha way or the Buddha practice, using the 4 foundations of mindfulness as our path into awareness. The other 3 were mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of mind, and mindfulness of phenomena. And actually, within these postures, all 4 foundations of mindfulness are incorporated. And so we're approaching the 5-minute mark. So we're going to go ahead and sit up and straighten our backs. And again, we'll just kind of maybe sit back on our hands and just feel this posture as we release, allowing our bodies to come back, our tendons and ligaments, allowing them to come back slowly. And then we will come back to the cross-legged seated position once again. And then feel this ease and comfort, and then we will bow and give thanks for having engaged in this posture and maintained mindfulness.